Okay, so I know everybody's been seeing that I've been posting about my Patreon a lot more. I haven't really been present on there that much, but now that it's getting more traction, I want to actually plan out and devote more time to that. Obviously, my schedule is really crazy right now because I have 6 books that are coming out this year, but I also want to plan ahead and just make sure that I can split my time evenly between my regular book releases and my Patreon. I really wanted an exclusive spot for my readers to be able to get like bonus content and be more involved in my writing journey. So I have a lot of stuff that I offer over there, so you get sneak peeks into my work in progress that nobody else is going to get. I do post some teasers through my newsletter monthly, but nothing where you really get like chapters ahead of time. And also, I have one tier where you actually get to help me name my characters, which I think is super cool because I actually need a lot of names soon, especially with all these book releases. I don't plan all my characters' names. Sometimes they are just no name, and I just put boy or girl as I write, and then say, you know what, this name pops in my head, and it sounds great. But sometimes no names pop in my head, so I think that's pretty cool that you guys would get to choose. But I also share my author insight into self-publishing. I want everybody and anybody who thinks about writing to be able to just publish by themselves. I promise you, self-publishing is not as hard as you think. I thought the same exact thing when I started, and now that I've kind of gotten to the groove and published more than a few books, it's kind of more like a routine, like waking up, getting dressed, brushing your teeth. It's so easy, I promise you. So I post on there kind of just like papers, I wouldn't say articles, but just my experience, how I got into this, what I started with, how I write, my process. Everybody is different, of course, and just the tips and tools that I use because I am not rich, obviously. I'm self-published for a reason. I try to keep everything as close to free as possible. Obviously, there's some subscriptions that I need, so I put that in there, put the cost in there, and just tell you guys what I use to publish, which everything I use to self-publish is free. But if you want author insight, you can go check it out on my Patreon. It's in one of my tiers. The lowest tier that I have, you get to be part of my Discord, which I discuss my books in there as well. You won't get early sneak peeks into there unless you upgrade your tier. But there's questions and answers in there. Honestly, talk anything about books. Doesn't even have to be my books, but it's a great place for bookish friends to come together. But I did announce earlier that I did want to do a short story erotica series with the alphabet. Obviously, it's super duper hard to just find kinks because there's a fine line between kinks and fetishes. So, I'm just gonna put them together. I feel like, obviously they're not the same thing, but I feel like they're kind of the same thing. So I have finally mapped out what I'm going to use for each letter. It was harder than you think because some letters are crazy and I didn't think I would find one at all, but somehow I did. A is already posted on my Patreon. I am currently writing B, and my plan is to post 1 to 2 a month. And then that would put me, I want to finish by the end of next year because I don't want to drag it out. But when I'm finished, obviously exclusively through Patreon, I'm thinking about putting them all together into their own, I think it would be considered like an omnibus because obviously they're their own stories. And they're anywhere from like 30 to 50 pages a piece. So it'd be a pretty hefty book. And I'm thinking about doing that exclusively through Patreon. But is that something you guys would want? Like, do you like when series get put into one big book? Because I think I want it physically. I don't want it just electronically through my Patreon. I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out when we get there. We have a long time. But I just want to let you know, there's so many goodies on my Patreon. If you do want to check it out, you can click the link in my bio, and it literally pops up right on the top of my website. If you want to check out my books, they're all linked on my website as well, or you can just Google me, honestly. Amazon pops up for that too as well if you don't want to purchase through my website, which I completely get. It is a little more pricier through my website just because you get it signed and you get goodies from me. But I just want to update you guys. I have a lot going on. My schedule is pretty packed, so I'm going to try to be on top of myself, stick to the dates, and stick to my deadlines. Because if I don't, then I'm going to get lazy and I won't produce as much. And obviously, I want to give myself time because I don't want to be releasing like rushed stories. There's a lot of characters that I have right now that I'm writing this year, and I love every single one of them, and they deserve to have a great story. And 2 of my books this year that I'm releasing were supposed to be standalones, but they turn into series. So I just signed myself up for 2 more series throughout next year and the year after that. Oh my goodness, I am so busy. But if you want to go support me, you can honestly just buy my books. But if you want to support me monthly, you can go to Patreon, get all those goodies. I have a little surprise that I'm cooking up, but I'm not 100% sure when I want to do that, if you guys would even be interested. There's so many other book boxes out there. Shouldn't have said that. Anyways, click the link in my bio and join my Patreon.